Thanks to the support as a channel member, Joshua Selig. Here we go then. We've got Tours back where they started 10 years ago in the second tier of French football. We've also got a transfer budget for the first time. This is going to be an interesting transfer, and it feels like phase 2 of this save starts here. We've done the recovery, we've done the redemption story. Now all eyes are on getting into Ligue 1 and eventually toppling Paris Saint Germain, which seems achievable. Hello, welcome to part 21 of the Tour de France. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special at the end of the 2024-25 season. Our 4th season of the save and our 4th consecutive promotion. And as you can see, we did it in style again this time by winning the league, which we didn't do in the previous year. So we are going to be in the second tier of French football for next season. And very excited I am about it too. These were our signings of the season. Signing of the season has gone to Anthony Mandrea, who came in to replace Goda in goal, only averaging a 7 over the course of the season. It's nothing spectacular. I think if I was Traoré on a 7.36, I'd be questioning that a little bit. Both of them coming in on free transfers, but Mandrea has been excellent, come straight in, key player, key starter. So can't really begrudge him getting that award as well. This was also, of course, the season where we started to use our parent club, Monaco. We were finally big enough to start getting loans from Monaco. Hopefully that's something that's going to continue this season. I have already tried to get Felix Lamarechal back on loan again for another year. And at the moment he's refusing. So I need to wait for the leagues to tick over. So he realizes we are second tier. And hopefully at that point he will agree to come back to back on loan to us again. Because certainly Ribeiro and Lamarechal coming in second half of the season was a big impact. And also Deleste coming in from PSG, big impact as well. Lots of very good signings. We need more of that this summer, please. The board were looking for us to finish top half, and of course we won the league, so we got an A+ for that. We won the league in style as well, after struggling a little bit in the previous season and only finishing second and getting promoted by default, really, because B teams can't come up to this tier. It's almost as if the structure of the French league is this league is easier than the one below because it doesn't have those B teams in. And when I say it's almost as if, I'm saying that definitely is the situation. The top teams in the 4th tier, all the B teams, are probably better than most of the teams in this 3rd tier. The example of that would be these teams who've just got relegated. They're not going to go and win the league below. They might come back up again, but they'll do it by finishing 7th or 8th in those leagues. So it is probably a slightly easier league. But all the same, we won it. You can only win the matches that are put in front of you. And we are pushing on and moving up in the world again. And obviously, we're going to have to do it without Boyd, who at the moment is not coming back on loan to us again this summer after his move to Marseille back in January. You can see that sponsorship money has increased slightly over the last year, which is handy. Still not getting any broadcast revenue. I hope at some point broadcast revenue kicks in. It's going to be really, really difficult to catch up with Paris Saint Germain if we don't get TV money from somewhere, because we only have a 16,000 capacity on our stadium, and I don't think we can rely on tycoon takeovers or mega sponsorships to allow us to compete financially. We need TV money. We need Premier League, Bundesliga style TV money. I've very rarely managed in France. I don't know if that's a thing they do here or if it's done on a club by club basis or how it works. Either way, we need to increase these revenue streams a little bit, because that is not enough income for a team that is now looking at pushing on to the top flight. Shirt sales, Bouzrara still selling more shirts than anybody, despite basically being our 4th choice striker. And Big Fat Dennis, 2nd highest shirt seller, despite being our 3rd choice striker. Shows how much the fans love these boys who've been around for a few years. Tutu is the top selling current starting player, and it's good to see one of our own homegrown Vaquero has finished 5th on the shirt sales. This was our team of the year. Mandrea in goal, Tanard, Deleste, Boyd, and Abdullah. Obviously, we're losing Boyd this summer. Who, a 7.52. He is, if he hasn't won player of the season, I don't understand how they decide who wins player of the season. Traoré, Vaquero, and Lamarechal. Lamarechal getting on there despite only being in for half of the season. And then Gotan. Surprised to see Benvindo on there because he only started 6 games all year. Question that a little bit. and then Tutu up front. I think Tutu's future is probably out wide. As much as he's a good player, to only get 15 goals, I question whether he's going to be the man to lead the line for us in this new season. So Player of the Year actually went to Abdallah at right back. Stephen Boyd did win Young Player of the Year, and if I were him, I would be feeling a little robbed not winning Player of the Year as well. Mandrea, as we already know, is signing of the season. Goal of the season goes to David Carter, presumably for one of his excellent free kicks. Top scorer was Tutu. Like I say, I think we need a striker this summer. For our top scorer to only have 15 goals, I know we've played a kind of different style of football this year, and we've got a lot out of our wide players and our midfield players, but I want a 30-goal-a-season striker. You know I love a 30-goal-a-season striker. Club captain Kingsley Gotan, most assists with 12 at only 19 years old. Abdullah got most man of the matches and the highest average rating. I guess they're not counting Boyd because he left partway through. Or so, again, it's a weird FM glitch. We didn't win any of the competition awards, but we have set some club records. Big Fat Dennis is now, he is still our all-time record goal scorer with 76. Goda, our oldest starter, he did play in the last game of the season at 35 years, very nearly 36 years old. And Tutu is our fastest goal scorer ever at 18 seconds. We already know the budgets that we've been given. We got them in the last episode. We've got £634,000 of a transfer budget and a nicely increased wage budget. Don't worry too much about the club balance being negative. I know I have promised sensible financial management in this save. We're still doing it. We haven't run up any transfer debt at all. And that is going to be largely cleared by sponsorships when these come in. These usually come in over the summer. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we got a new sponsorship deal now we've moved up a level, because there's some of these that are in their final year or going into their final year. Now the main kit sponsorship expires this summer, so I'd like to think that was only a 3-year deal. So that was signed when we were in the 6th tier. I'd like to think our kit sponsorship is going to increase a little bit. And some of these other general sponsorships are in their last year, going into the final 2 years. And as we saw with, I think it was this one, it might have been this one. One of these started last summer. It was this one that started last summer. And it was an increase. It was 1.2 million. It went up to 1.4 million. So I'd like to think sponsorships will start to increase. The financial projection is a little alarming, but hopefully we can balance that out with increased attendances and selling players and some TV revenue. I don't know if there's TV revenue. Hold on, let's have a little look. This might be why Tor got into the problem they got into in the first place. We go up to this league. Is there TV revenue? Does it even tell us on here somewhere? There's no mention of prize money. I guess prize money and TV revenue are different things, aren't they? I don't think we're going to find out from here, are we? I guess it's going to be a pleasant surprise. All I can do is make sure I stick to the wage budget. Don't buy players on the never never and hope that everything off the pitch takes care of itself. That's all I can do. Club vision wise, the board are looking for us to play counter-attacking, direct, defensively solid football, what I'm known for. They want me to work within the wage budget, sell players for a profit, and minimum 2-year contracts. I never really get that one. I guess they just don't want me bringing in journeymen for a year and releasing them on a free. But very much the model is fight bravely against relegation. It's the first time we've had that as a goal. So I think we probably are going to struggle a bit more in this coming season. And looking at the 5-year plan, they just want us to stay in the second tier, not spend too much on wages, and turn a transfer profit to keep the club afloat. So it's a very sensible ambition for the club to have, bearing in mind what they've been through over the last 10 years, the financial problems leading to them being relegated multiple times. And yeah, I get that just sticking in the second tier and turning a profit seems like perfect for them. Obviously, we want to push a little bit harder. We're going to stick to the criteria. We're going to work within the wage budget. We are going to sign players to sell for a profit. We are going to turn a transfer profit. We are going to be, as much as I can contribute towards the club being profitable. Obviously, if there's loads of off-the-field expenses, I don't really have a lot of control over them if we can't get attendances up. But as long as I stick to the budgets they've given me and we run a transfer profit, I feel like I'm doing my bit. But while that's going on, we also want to get promoted. So we've got to push a little bit harder. We don't currently have a team leader. End of season team meeting. Let's just say to the boys, let's try and avoid relegation. apparently I'm setting us up to fail. So let's back down and say, okay, fine, let's get relegated then and have a lovely time doing it. And that seems to cheer them up. Fantastic. Love a confident bunch. Looking at the distribution of talent within the squad, it looks like there's quite a lot of areas we could do with strengthening this summer. Mandrea showing us only 2.5 stars suggests we probably need a goalkeeper. Already identified we probably need a goal scoring striker. The wide players look like they're possibly a weak area, as do the fullbacks, and we're losing Stephen Boyd. I mean, it's easier to identify the stuff that's any good. Ribeiro's not going to be here because he's alone. So really, we're building a team around Traore, Vaquero and Deleste and trying to plug in the rest of the team around them. And obviously the other young talents that we've got. We've got a lot of very good young players. Oh, I'm in the running for Manager of the Year. So let's vote for the worst one. Got to basically spoil my ballot paper. We do have a lot of good young talent coming through as well. So I think we probably have to focus in on this even more than we have done so far now, and maybe get some more of these young talents into that first team squad. So my thinking now, as usual, we're going to let the season tick over because we want to try and get Le Marechal and Ribeiro back on loan, and neither of them want to come at the moment. And then we will try and extend Boyd's loan, which will probably be a struggle. Extend any contracts that need extending. It's only going to be the real top players. We've already extended Vaquero's contract. He's taken a big pay rise. And is now one of the higher paid players at the club, as he should be, because he's one of the best players at the club. There'll be a few other boys who get a deal on that basis, the likes of Michael Oliver, probably like Odebert, Carter. These really good young players, Deleste, are going to need a little bit more money throwing at them. And then we'll see where we are and try as much as I can to survive on free transfers again and not spend that if I can avoid it. If we really, really, really need someone, I would like to spend a little bit, just a little bit of spending. On the topic of wanting a striker, this is quite reassuring. Gerald Lotis, playing in National 3, so that's the 5th tier, has broken 2 records previously held by Yad Lokorofo, who is playing regularly at the league we're moving up into, albeit not really scoring goals. But he's broken the divisional record for both average rating and top goal scorer in the season, both held by Foe previously. He is 20 years old now, only showing as 4-star potential, but did get 23 goals last season. Not quite the 47 goals he scored a few years before, but 23 goals from 16 appearances. He's definitely a goal scorer, is Gerald Lotis. So I guess we need to give him a try at some point. In his career, 93 games, 85 goals, 24 assists, and an average of 7.92. Unfortunately, whenever he actually plays for the first team, not so much. But with Big Fat Dennis probably leaving because his contract is up, there's a vacancy for a guy to sit on the bench, and it might be Lotis if we're not able to find anybody any better. Here we go. We were just talking about this. We do have a new main kit sponsor. A 3-year deal worth $240,000 rather than the $75,000 it was worth previously. So those sponsorship numbers are up a little bit again, but still obviously not at the kind of level that we'd need to be to start competing at a higher level. Our total income this season, I guess we look at last season rather than this season, so I'm not sure when the sponsorship money comes in. Although in fact, the sponsorship money is coming this month. So I suspect this season started on the 1st of June. But if we've got an income of like £3.5 million a season, we spent $6 million last year. How is that possible? Oh dear. Financial ruin is incoming again for this club. But in other news, let's just increase the scouting range. Just a little bit. What harm? What harm could it do, eh? Oh, that's all right then. We finally get TV money at this level, £4.39 million, which, when we were just looking at the budgets before, would have been enough to make up the difference in previous years. So last season, income of 3.6, outgoings of 5.8. So adding that extra money in, yeah, should sort that projection out as well. Finances, taking care of themselves a little bit more, which is excellent. We have ticked over into the new year as well. So we are officially a Ligue 2. Is that how they say it? Do I look French to you? We're just extending some more contracts still. We're also trying to extend the loans of Boyd and Le Marechal, because Boyd in particular is in the Dream 11. The media think we're going to finish 17th, which should be just enough to stay in the league. I'd be happy with just staying in the league this coming year, but to show just how good Stephen Boyd is, he's the second best player in the division. Marseille have agreed that we can have him if we pay 60% of his salary, which is £2,300 a week, which would be our highest paid player. But yes, we'll obviously take him if we can get him for that. So fingers crossed he wants to come back. If I were him, I'd be tempted to just try and get into the Marseille team because he's so much better than everyone else in this league. He might actually stand a chance of doing it. But then the alternative is obviously he doesn't want to be stuck playing for the Marseille B team. So we'll see what his thought process is for that. Le Marechal, we can get for nothing because he's at Monaco, which I wish Monaco would sign Boyd because we could just bring him back for nothing then. And it's just down to whether or not Le Marechal wants to come and play for us again for another year. I'm waiting and seeing what happens with those two before making too much in the way of transfer plans. We do have some contracts expiring, including, as you can just see on the edge of the screen there, Goda, Big Fat Dennis, Perron. Some of our players who've been here since the start are going to be leaving us this summer. So we're going to have some holes in the squad. We don't want to sell David Carter. Has he signed his new contract yet? We've certainly offered him one. He's not signed it yet. So hopefully we don't upset him too much by refusing deals. And we have signed one player. It's an absolute disaster. Junior Cadil came in on trial and was showing as a 5-star potential player on trial at 22 years old. I need to sack all of my coaches because they can't judge a player at all, clearly, because now he's signed and he's down to 3.5 stars of potential. So, I mean, he's got a chance, but realistically, we've probably just signed a player for the B team there, which is not ideal. So we're just going to keep hitting continue, wait and see if these boys come back on loan, hopefully not sell David Carter, and then it should be the 1st of July, and we can work out how much money we've got and come up with a plan. Much sadness, but I guess only to be expected. Look at his transfer value. This guy is going to be playing in Ligue 1 for Marseille this year. I'll be sad if he goes out on loan to someone else at our level or below, but I suspect he's going to be playing for Marseille. Thank you, Stephen Boyd. We'll miss you. He'll come back one day. They all come home eventually. Well, in addition to losing Stephen Boyd this summer, we are also saying goodbye to Jules Goda. What a servant he's been. He could actually say he brought us back to the level we were at when he signed and was a reserve at both ends of it. He was great in the non-league, though. Antoine Perron, who, again, had been at the club back when we were at this level, rejoined us when we were close to our worst position, and it got us back here. So, you know, he's doing his bit. Tannard, this one was a complicated one because I wasn't entirely sure we were going to be done with him, but then we were done with him. I think we can probably do better. That's my gamble there. I don't remember him. And Big Fat Dennis, of course, the biggest and fattest of them all, has moved on after, I mean, what an incredible return he's had in his career. His tour career, 78 games, 84 goals, 21 assists, 12 man of the matches, and a 7.68. If that man's not on the club legends list, I don't understand. He's there on the favoured personnel. To me, he's right up there with Olivier Giroud as one of the best strikers to ever play for Tour. What a man. We've got lots of contracts expiring in this coming summer, but they're actually mostly players we wouldn't be that bothered about losing, especially if we get promoted again, which, I mean, we're not going to get promoted again, but you never know, we might. Latisse probably needs a new contract. We'll deal with that. And Gotan, there's a couple that we need to extend, but nothing we need to worry about too urgently. I have just released my director of football based on that signing that we just brought in, because clearly a bit rubbish. Ooh, shall we bring Paul Spradbury back, who never actually played for us? He left us way back at the start, but he's still got loads of potential. He's not fulfilling his potential at all. Are we going to take control of this and actually develop him because Jose aren't? Can we get him on loan? They're not going to let him leave on loan. Well, I guess we're not signing Paul Spradbury back. Hold on. I thought Le Marechal was coming back to us. I don't remember seeing the memo that he'd turned us down. Let's try that one again, shall we? Not willing to let him leave on loan at the present time. We have him for free then. We have him on a free transfer, please. That might work. That might work. So what's the finances now? We're not doing too bad. And this is our squad. Having let all those players leave, we are on quite a small squad now. So if we have a look at our squad depth, it becomes very clear that we need quite a lot of players. We definitely need a goalkeeper. Definitely need centre-backs. Just defenders in general. Left-back, unless we're going with Oliver as left-back this year, which is part of my thinking. We've got Moustache. Michael Oliver can probably be our left-back. I don't really want him as a centre-back long-term. So Michael Oliver might be our starting left-back this season. Deleste is attracting interest. We don't really want to let him go. Carter probably also needs to be starting this season. So ideally, we go with Oliver, Deleste, Carter, and Abdullah as the back four. New goalkeeper, probably. Unless Carter's playing as the defensive midfielder, we bring another defender in. But Traore can play there. Vaquero has to start. We probably need someone else to come in alongside him. Traore, Godin, fine. Cyril Faure came through the youth team most recently and looks like he's going to be spectacular. Probably don't want to be regularly starting a 15-year-old. In fact, if the rules at this level are anything like they are further down the pyramid, we won't be able to start him at 15 initially, although he does turn 16 in August. We had that problem with David Carter when we couldn't play him for the first season, even though he was in the first team squad. He was only 15. We weren't allowed to play him. And then 2-2, I would like to replace if we can, and replace him as the striker and move him out onto one of the wings. Gotan is still great, but we could probably do with another winger in as well. Odobert is pretty good as a backup. So lots of players that we need. I think what we probably need to do is see what is available. Why is he still here when he was supposed to? He does leave today. I don't know why he hasn't already left. I guess we'll hit continue one more time to let him go, and then look at bringing in some free transfers. We love a free transfer. The Marechal didn't want to discuss terms with us, so he's not coming back. Ribeiro, who was on loan with us last year from Monaco, though, he's available for free, so maybe we'll get him amongst a few others, hopefully. Well, we weren't able to get Ribeiro. He's signed elsewhere. Le Marechal has signed elsewhere. Boyd still doesn't want to come back to us. It's not been going ideal, but we have made some signings, so let's go through the ones who have already come through the door. We have Moussa Cissé, who is an exciting signing, a 22-year-old former French under-20 international left-back, who, look at his value, all of that value. I mean, he's expensive, but look at his value. 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential, better than any other left-back we've got at the club. Was originally Paris Saint Germain, has been at Stuttgart for the last number of years, including 9 games in the Bundesliga last year. So clearly has a little something about him. Football words. Boris Martinez is a 26-year-old French centre-back. Just really wanted to make up the numbers with Boyd having moved on. I don't expect this guy to start. He has been hovering around the division below for years and should be fine as a squad option. 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential, reasonably cheap, so I don't mind having him in. Godson Kierema is one of the guys we had on loan last year, probably the one we wanted to make permanent the least, but he's the one that we've got. He can play on either wing, probably not going to start on either of them, but when he was here last year, never let us down. 12 games, 4 goals, 1 assist, a 7.08. That's fine as a backup who can cover both sides. Again, relatively cheap. Habib Keita is a central midfielder, can also play defensive midfield, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential, 23 years old, capped at under 23 level for Mali. I thought he had French as a second nationality. He will have soon. Let's just pretend he already does. I was convinced. I was sure I'd checked him. I think I just assumed because he'd been at Lyon for years he was French as well. But he will be French soon, so he still counts as homegrown. He is homegrown in France, but he has been, like I say, at Lyon for a little while, including being in and around the squad in Ligue 1 every now and again. So another decent option to have. And then we spent some money as well. Boubacar Camara, 24-year-old right winger, cost us £37,000, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, better than any other right winger at the club. And we'll take that. That's a decent player coming in. Gerald Lotis has gone out on loan as well. He's going to be playing for Villefranche in the division above the one he was playing in last year, the National 2. So hopefully he'll continue to rattle in the goals for them. So all of that being done, We do still have a little bit of money to spend, not a massive amount, but we do still have transfer budget as well. So if we were to convert that to wage budget, we've got enough for several more players yet. So we will be looking for more players, looking at the squad depth. We're not too bad, although there are still obvious players we need to improve. We still don't have that new striker that would allow Tutu to move out onto the wings. So with Tutu as the striker, we've only really got her and Buzrara as backups, and that is not ideal. We really need a striker. In the wide areas, we are looking good, though. Gotan obviously is going to carry on being a key player for us. He's our captain. Tutu can cover either side. Kierema can cover either side. Babai can cover either side. We've got the new boy Camera as well, who's likely to be our starter on the right. So I don't think we need any more wingers. Central midfield, Vaquero goes from strength to strength. I think he's probably going to be our next big money sale. I just hope we can keep hold of him. If we can, he's a nailed-on starter in central midfield alongside Traore and Keita. Probably they'd be the three. Godam might not be cut out for this level. He's kind of lost his place in the team to Lara Michelle last season. We have got the youngster Cyril Fora as well, who at 15 looks like he's going to be outstanding, but might not be allowed to play. We shall wait and see. And David Carter can cover at defensive midfielder as well. We probably need another centre mid, though, especially with Fori potentially not able to play and Vaquero potentially leaving. We'd perhaps need a couple more in there. Left back, I'm happy with Cisse as my starter. He's got loads of potential. And we've got Oliver and Mustache to act as backups. Oliver's really a backup across the entire back four. Can cover centre-back, can cover right-back, where Abdullah will still be our starter. And then at centre-back, Deleste is guaranteed to start if he's fit, alongside one of Carter, Barrett, Maltines, maybe Oliver. We could do with one more really good centre-back, but at the same time, I don't want to get in the way of David Carter and his development. So tempted to leave it as it is there and go with Carter and Deleste as the starters. And then in goal, we've only got Mandrea in the squad, so we desperately need another goalkeeper. So although it's a 24-man squad, there are imbalances in it. There's players we'd want to move on, like Buzrara, and places we definitely need to fill with players like another goalkeeper, like a proper striker. So plenty more still to do. We've got money to spend to do it. I'm going to go and bring in some more trialists and see what we can find. Well, we have a couple more players in. Still not exactly what we were looking for. Another centre-back / defensive midfielder, Kevin Boma, is 22 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. I still felt like we needed a little bit more back there. And this guy is a Tour original. So it felt right to bring him back into the new project. And then Usmani Ba is a 23-year-old goalkeeper, 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential, can be a backup to Mandrea, can eventually maybe push past him and become our starting keeper. So he is in as well. We still have bags of money left. We're just really struggling to find anybody who will sign for us. The vast majority of players that we try to bring in choose to go somewhere else rather than signing for us. And we're still struggling to get rid of some of these fringe players. It looks like we can't register him. Hold on. Can we register him? No, because he's under 16. So Fowry is not going to be part of our squad. I mean, we should be able to register him before deadline day. But what I have noticed is the season starts really, really soon. I kind of haven't been planning for a season that starts on the 26th of July. For context, last season, 24th of August, we started. We're starting a month early, and I am not ready. I've got 5 days. I still haven't got my striker. And now I've just lost a midfielder as well. Well, we signed precisely 0 new players before the season started. We still have over a month of transfer window left. The only problem is, during that month, we play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 league games. So a quarter of our season is played before the transfer window closes. So it's not like we can just take our time. We need to crack on and get signings done because we are one of the favourites for relegation. And that's going to be problematic when we've got a team that I don't know looks as strong as the team we had last year with Ribeiro and Lara Marichal taken out at the side. I feel like this is a weaker team. And obviously Boyd taken out as well. 3 key players all gone. We try Boyd again. Boyd. Stephen Boyd. See, he's in the Marseille first team squad. I don't think we're going to get him, are we? Nope. No, he's gone forever. Oh, we're going to struggle. We'll find out how much we're going to struggle in tomorrow's video. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.